What is going on, Wolfpack Nation? I hope everybody's doing well this evening. Thank you all so much for tuning in here with us for another edition of the Tuffy Talk live show. We got all of us here today. We even got Kinsey here today joining us, but I will forewarn everybody that she is at the beach right now, if I'm not mistaken. So that is why her internet is so-so, but we'll forgive her because at the end of the day, I mean, again, she's joining us from vacation, so that's dedication right there, talking to state stuff. So we'll give you the benefit of the doubt there, Ken. But make sure, first of all, if you're tuning in here with us, first of all, just send us a comment. Let us know who's here. Let us know just what's going on, everybody, and kind of what questions you have. We'll definitely make sure to get to them here today. So, but with that being said, though, again, I mean, obviously, man, we're another day closer here to NC State football coming back. And actually, too, we were actually doing some math. And so for those who don't know, Macon and I, and it sounds like even Greg, too, even possibly we could convince to go to the Clemson game. And then my family just put together plans to go to Louisville. Okay, Ken's is going. So, and then obviously ECU and UNC, we're going to be there, no doubt about it. We ain't missing that. So the only game which I don't think we can convince any of the Tuffy Talk people to go to is Syracuse, unless anybody wants to bite the bullet on that. Megan, can hear you.
I thought Leighton that the Tuffy Talk budget would fly us all up there. The Leighton Smith budget more so, I would say. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Leighton makes a big buck.
Bruh.
No, I don't foresee any of us making it up to Syracuse. That's for sure.
No, I mean, just it's pretty expensive actually. I remember
I got my Syracuse orange on today though.
Yeah, you do actually. You gotta watch out for that. But I remember my
Atlantic now.
Yeah. But I remember my senior year, we actually flew my wife up there, and it was quite expensive to get there. Has anybody else been to Syracuse on the Tuffy Talk team and tuning in here with us? Oh, really? Okay. Had a couple. Was it a recent trip or?
It was a while ago.
Okay. Yeah. Greg, you're muted. Gotta flip that button. Anyway, what's going on, Justin? Appreciate you tuning in with us, man. Go ahead, Greg.
I would say I did it for basketball when we were in the Sweet 16. So okay. I haven't done it for football.
Okay. Yeah. I'll tell you, it's definitely an interesting setup, for their basketball core, especially with such a historic program like Syracuse, to play in. It's weird. But
yeah, I sat in bleachers. It was like going to like a high school football game.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. So, but with that being said, though, Justin says nope. So yeah, it sounds like very few have been Syracuse, but it is cool, but just it's expensive. Syracuse isn't probably going to be that good this year, so I don't think many people are very keen to paying so much money to get there. But go ahead, make it
cold. I think their defense is not too bad.
And Sean Tucker, but
I've read their defense was actually their defense. If you look at the numbers, was actually
it wasn't bad. Yeah,
it was good. So I don't know if they bring everybody back, but I imagine their defense may not be that bad. I think it actually might be a pretty good defense. It's just they can get anything out of Garrett Schrader. I mean, he can run, but he can't really throw. So
yeah. Now
they're going to run the ball 40 times a game,
pretty much. Well, especially with Sean Tucker, they're going to feed him the ball like there's no tomorrow. But one good piece of news though, which I found out today, is me and my family locked down tickets for the ECU game. But the funny thing is that we're actually sitting on the home side, lower level, pretty low, because I mean, so basically it was like, do I want to be in the shade but be in the middle of a bunch of ECU fans, or do I want to be on the wayside cooking half to death but with NC State fans? So I was like, screw it. It'll just make it that much more sweeter when we beat them in front of in the middle of all these ECU fans. So I'll take it.
There'll still be a decent amount of State fans on that side, I'm guessing.
Probably.
How brutal was the cost?
Not too shabby. I mean, because I will say, I mean, we have a family friend of ours who's a ECU fan that actually lives in Greenville, so we're actually going to stay with them the night before and night after and make a weekend out of it. But so he hooked us up because he's a part of the Pirate Club or whatever their thing is. I guess the Pirate Club. Yeah. So all right. So that means go ahead.
That's what we're doing because my mom went to ECU. So she's going to be wearing purple and gold, and her roommate. We're staying at her roommate's house. But don't worry, there's like 4 of us that are going to be ripping or red and white.
Greg, the starting price on StubHub for that game is $125 a ticket.
Yeah,
It's
it's actually
crazy.
down a little bit. I looked a couple weeks ago; it was almost $300, but that's $125 before all the service fees. So it's going to be like $200.
Yeah, assume another 70% more, and then you're
Yeah.
But keep in mind though too that that single season tickets haven't even gone on sale yet. So
Correct.
I think it's August 4th or August 5th. So make
Something
sure
like
Wolfpack Nation. So people like Greg, etc., don't want to pay a ridiculous price to get tickets, ahead of time. Just wait for that date, and then whatever that, I think it's either August 4th or 5th. Again, we'll double check that. Make sure to tweet out, because once that date hits, we want every NC State fan to pack red out. Exactly, pack red out. So that being said, we'll jump on over here to Tuffy's Weekly Rewind. Here we go. All right, so gotta jump on. Even though it's funny, I made these backgrounds, but obviously now with having 6 screens is kind of doesn't even really matter anymore. But it's okay. It's I'll still
get 14 screens.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. We need to add a couple more people to the Tuffy Talk team. No. So obviously one of the biggest things that came out was, well, a couple things. So obviously the men's basketball and women's basketball out of conference schedules came out. I think that the women's basketball out of conference schedule definitely was much more of an eye opener than the men's side was. But I think that obviously with the men's basketball, that in conference is tough enough, where it's like with out of conference, you're okay if it's not really that difficult, really, especially right with where we are right now, where we're just trying to go up a couple steps. We're trying not to get knocked down anymore. So that's kind of my thoughts. So Kenz, what were your initial reactions to either women's or men's out of conference? I'll let you pick.
Men's, I didn't really have like that much of a moment or anything when I looked at the out of conference schedule, but the battle for Atlantis, I think that's going to be, that's going to be what our team actually is capable of. I feel like that's where we're going to see that at. Yeah,
absolutely. Macon, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, the only game on the NC State's non-conference schedule that was interesting was Vanderbilt, besides the battle for Atlantis. I honestly don't remember what the women's schedule looks like. I'm trying to go back and look here. I'm looking at it now. Okay, so we got Charlotte, UConn, the Vanderbilt, West Virginia, Iowa, Georgia. Those are some pretty solid teams, particularly the UConn and Iowa games. So those will be really good matchups. It's definitely a different tier of a non-conference schedule than the men's team right now.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Well, keep in mind too that the 3 toughest games I think you could pick out in the out of conference are Georgia, Iowa, and UConn. And all 3 of those are on the road. So definitely, tough. But I think that for those who have checked out the Madison Hayes interview that we did with her a couple of weeks ago, which if you haven't checked that out yet, make sure to do that as a must watch. But I mean, she kind of went in a little bit more into detail in terms of how this team is going to look. And I mean, she definitely thinks that this team can eclipse what was accomplished last year. I think that she's very excited about how this team's going to be put together, with obviously with the return of Diamond Johnson, having a full offseason with Wes Moore, Sania Rivers, looking to really make her name known, was a big time recruit that transferred from South Carolina, and a couple other great transfer additions as well, on top of Jakia Brown-Turner, you name it. It should be a special team this year. So definitely make sure, again, if you haven't already, get season tickets yet, make sure to definitely go do that. It should be a lot of fun, especially for women's. But hey, with men's, hey, sky's the limit. But we'll talk a little bit more about them, as we actually have a question about them in our Tuffy's mailbag. But with that being said, we're going to have to jump over here to a special edition here, as we're going to do once again the 6,000 follower special NC State trivia. So first of all, thank you all so much for getting us there to that awesome mark. Only a year and a half in, we started Tuffy Talk back in either late December, January, our Twitter account back in January of 2021. We already hit 6,000 followers, so we really appreciate that. So with that being said, we had so much fun with the trivia last week that we're going to do it again this week. But the difference is that last week we did 5 questions, but in honor of it being 6,000 followers special, we're going to do 6 questions. Hey, Megan, look at you. We're going to do 6,000 questions.
All I'm going to say is I'm still riding high off. I brought out my championship from last week. So
yes. The way you did that sound effect is like you bleeped him out, like he was cussing, like he was.
Right.
No, I
throw 6,000 followers.
Yeah. Well, no, I was just like, oh man, Macon's gonna start talking, man. I need to do his sound effect. So, for those who don't know that, he's been dying for that sound effect for ever since we started this thing.
Yes.
And Will Pryor commented in and said, "What's up, guys? Bought 4 season football tickets this year, first time in 20+ years. I don't believe Greg is cheap. No, Greg is not cheap. I can tell you that right now. That is not a word within
all
the
those
thought
helmets
of Greg.
Behind him, the nice fireplace.
Yeah, come on.
Banner.
Yeah,
I'm not cheap. I just don't like wasting money. So if I can find a better deal, I'll find the better deal. So you can call me frugal.
Hey, Greg goes to a lot of nice concerts too. I'm just saying, you might.
That's true. That's true. So make sure if you're commenting again with us, make sure again to send in your answers, your thoughts as we go and as these questions come. We'll definitely try and keep up with it. And then also too, if you're just listening to us or checking us out after, make sure again to still put in the comments or even just let us know how you do as well with answering these 5 questions. We'd love to know. So with that being said, and Kenzie, a lot of pressure too because first time, so got to deliver big here.
Oh,
so
nervous.
First question. What were the original NC State colors?
D.
A. Well, hold on here, Ken. Jeez. Man, a little quick to jump the gun.
You could be wrong. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Spoiler alert.
She's booted. I
apologize.
All right,
I thought that was the goal. I thought it was first.
All right.
Read each option, then let's.
All right. Let's try this again. So we're doing NC State trivia. Here's the first question.
Hey!
What were the original NC State colors? A, pink and brown. B, red and brown. C, green and brown. D, pink and blue. And I think
we used to be called the NC State gender reveal.
Gender reveals.
You should have put one as pink and put pink and blue, and then another one is blue and pink. That was funny.
Well, I just for some reason again it's because honestly for a while I thought it was pink and brown. For some reason I thought I've heard that from somewhere. That's why I thought it was pink and brown, but no, pink and blue. I was like, man, we had blue in our colors at one point. That's bad.
I would like to know what shade of blue it was. I mean, obviously everything was black and white photos.
But, I think it was I think it was kind of close to a Carolina blue.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would think so.
Yes. So, but yes, everybody, it was D, pink and blue. Congratulations, 1 for 1. Definitely a little bit of a toss up there, but no, just thought I'd start off a little bit soft. Exactly. Hey, we got 5 more to go here. So, all right. So, and then yes, Justin got it with D as well.
Ooh.
All right. What is Mr. and Miss, not Mrs., Miss Wolf's wedding anniversary? A, 1975, B, 1978, C, 1981, or D, 1985? So,
I mean, I gotta guess.
Any guesses?
For sure. We had a saying in the. Go ahead.
No, you go.
So when you don't know, when we would take tests in the Navy, our saying was "When in doubt, Charlie out." So I'm going 1981.
Okay.
I'm gonna say 78. I think it was
earlier. I'm gonna go 78 too.
I'm gonna guess A. I was gonna say B, but I'm gonna say A because I remember they celebrated a milestone recently, and maybe.
Well, that would be
unless they celebrated in 2018.
That'd be a little closer.
Yeah,
21 would be even closer.
Be honest with you.
All right, so
it's B, but I'm gonna go A.
All right, so we got Macon with locking in 1975. Got Michael and Mackenzie going in at B, 1978, and Greg at C, 1981. So first of all, Michael and Kenzie, unfortunately, you're wrong. And then, but Macon, you're wrong too. So Greg, you got it, 1981. Congratulations, Greg. 1980
last year.
1981, last year celebrated 40 years. So, and keep in mind that when Will Ferrell did his walk around before the Boston College game back in 2015, he saw Mr. and Mrs. Wolf and he said, "So what is the key to a happy marriage?" And he looked at it for a while and goes, "Communication, right?" So just keep that in mind. That's what made it work. So for 40 years.
Hold on, bro.
Bruh.
Yeah. All right. Question number 3. What is the highest ranking ever achieved by NC State football? And it happened back in 1967. A3, B5, C6, D8. So with Greg saying he got it, he'll go last. Macon, what do you think?
A.
Kens, what you got? Man, she's thinking about it.
All right. She's pulling a Macon.
Yeah.
I am thinking about it.
I'll go.
I want to say B, but Macon sounded really. So I'm gonna go in A.
I'll say
I was
D.
just wrong. That's probably not a good move.
What did Michael say?
I'll say D. D8.
D. Okay, D8. All right. So we got 3. Because Greg, what'd you say? Did you say it
nothing yet? You haven't asked me, but I'm gonna go.
All right, go ahead.
A.
Go A. All right. So we got Macon, McKenzie, and Greg saying A, and we got Michael saying D at 8. Well, it is A. A3. The
What a
highest
loser. No, I'm kidding.
achievement. What a loser. And then Michael.
I'm 0 for 2. I'm 0 for 2.
Over 3. Well, we've had 3 questions, so
Yeah, we've had 3 questions.
How can you be
so-
0 for 2?
Yeah.
Well, the
Dang it,
first
I'm
one was a
0 for
gimme.
What kind of math did you?
The
Yeah.
first one was a gimme, I thought.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Well, for those who are tuning in with us, make sure again to send us the comments what your answers are as these questions go. We still got 3 more here. So and who we got? Greg, I think is perfect so far, 3 for 3, if I'm not mistaken. So he's the one to beat. All right. Question number 4. Which coach leads NC State basketball with the most NCAA tournament appearances with 7? A. Herb Sendek, B. Norm Sloan, C. Everett Case, or D. Jimmy V?
This is a trick question.
How's that a trick question? None of the
I know.
above?
I can tell you why. But I
have a reason why I think I know the answer, and I'll share it with it. But I think I got my answer.
Yeah, I got an answer. I don't know
Okay.
if it's right.
All
I'm
right.
pretty sure I know.
I'll jump in. I'm gonna go A. Herb Sendek.
Okay.
Ooh.
And then I'll ask your explanation after.
Yep.
Greg.
Oh.
All right. Come on, y'all.
I'm
What we
gonna
got?
say B.
C. C.
All right. Okay. Kenzie, are you going to do D? And so we have one for everybody?
I'm gonna go Coach Case. Yeah.
Okay. So we got Greg with Herb Sendek, and then Michael with Norm Sloan, and then Macon and Kenzie with
No, I
Everett
had
Case.
Norm
No,
Sloan.
making.
And then Michael and
C.
then
Michael
Mackenzie
Kenzie.
had Everett Case. All right. Well, so first of all, Herb Sendek is wrong.
Emotional damage.
And then B, Norm Sloan is incorrect as well. C is incorrect as well. It's actually Jimmy V with
What?
7.
Wow.
Jimmy had
He had,
7.
he had more after
appearances.
83. He had a
So
lot
here's
more.
why
after
I knew it wasn't Everett Case. I'll say that because here's why I knew it wasn't Everett Case, and here's the only reason why I say that because back then, the only way you could go play the NCAA tournament was if you
You
won
won.
the AC championship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
There was no other way.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I
That
didn't
was-
know at some point it got to be where I'm thinking, okay, but there was the David
expansion.
Johnson
Yeah.
stuff that happened right around then. Maybe that was when,
Yeah.
but I was wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't Everett Case.
That was my
Well-
that was my thought logic too, making just reverse. Like they had opened it up, so that's why I went with Herb instead of Jimmy V. But they expanded it shortly after 83. So
Yeah.
like
Well,
another
but keep in mind though, so actually it might be a shocker to you here, but so Jimmy had 7, Everett Case had 6, Herb Sendek had 5, Norm Sloan had 3.
Okay, well, I'll say that's also too.
So
Everett Case was dominant.
yeah.
Sure.
And
Sure.
Sloan wasn't there super
His-
long. And again,
And his
Back
early
to-
years were bad.
yeah.
Sloan's
By the
was
way,
fine.
if you guys have never watched and first watching, the ACC made a documentary specifically about the ACC tournament,
Yeah.
and it legit is one of the best documentaries I've seen
Agreed.
for sports ever. It's really, really good.
And if you love
Yep.
NC State, the first 3 episodes are NC
Oh
State
my
heavy.
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
I need to watch
After the
it. I never-
83, you can turn the series off.
Yeah.
For real though,
and
it's
Duke
really-
and UNC.
really good. It's really
Yeah.
good.
I
Yeah.
have to watch it. I haven't. I never went back and watched it.
It's on
very-
demand all this week on ACC. So
Really well done.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, so 2 more questions here. So now we have nobody that's perfect anymore. So now it's just all on the table. So all right, which NC State basketball player played the most games ever in an NC State uniform? A. Leonard Freeman, B. Scott Wood, C. Ernie Myers, D. Cozell McQueen.
I'm not going to Charlie out here, Greg. Should I Charlie out here?
I mean, I was leaning it not to be funny.
I'm going to Charlie out. I'm feeling pretty good about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was too.
Wait, you have Leonard Freeman's name spelled wrong.
I know. I'm sorry.
It's A. Leonard Freeman.
Leonard. No, I'll go Scott Wood.
Okay, and then Kenzie, what are you thinking?
I want to be, but I feel like Greg said earlier,
one of them.
Charlie out. I'm gonna go with Steve.
Charlie. All right, so Michael's got Scott Wood, and Greg and Macon and Mackenzie have Ernie Myers. So unfortunately for you, Michael, you're correct. It is Scott Wood by actually only 2 games, actually 138 to 136. But all 4 of these guys are actually within 4 or 5 games of each other. So
I wonder if he didn't miss a game, didn't miss any games. That's interesting.
Yeah. I was just thinking he played. He played a lot as a freshman. The seasons were longer. So
Yep.
Ernie Myers and it's too random. I thought so. I kind of thought he fit in there with that Jimmy V era. He might have played 4 games.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Especially with the injury to Witt and all that, and
that's true. Yeah.
And by the way, if those things put 2 together, Ernie is married to Annabelle Myers. I don't know everybody put the 2 together like that. But.
Yep.
Bonus
question.
Trivia.
Yeah. All right. So, and then last question number 6. Which NC State basketball player never won All-American? A. Tommy Burleson. B. Sam Rosino. C. Chris Corciani, and D. Julius Hodge.
I got it.
Really? I mean,
when we were, I think I know it because when we did all the top 5s, I did all the research on those. So I think I'm not 100% sure, but I think I know.
Did not win All-American.
Well, then Michael, we'll keep you for last time.
Yeah.
Okay. It's between A or D for me.
That's the same here, Macon.
Man, I'm thinking back in the day, centers were just a premium, but you're also playing in an era with other dominant centers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go A.
Yep. That was my thought logic as well.
Okay. A. Greg got A. Tommy Burleson as well. So they both got Tommy Burleson. Mackenzie, what do you got?
She frozen?
Man, she's thinking more,
go
or she's frozen. D. Julius Hodge. Okay. Michael?
I was frozen, sorry.
C. Chris Corciani. Okay. Interesting. All right. So it is Chris Corciani.
Wow.
Chris Corciani. Actually, but even though, here, let me tell you one funny thing. In the all-time season assist records, so if you basically the highest amount of assists in a season, if you did the top 6, in the top 6, Chris Corciani has 4 of them. So literally all 4 of his seasons rank in the tops in terms of assists per season all time. But yeah, he never won All-American.
He leads NC State in assists.
Oh,
yeah.
A lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
Was he number 1 in the? He wasn't number 1 in the ACC, was he? Before.
Yeah.
He was number 1 in the ACC before. What's his face? For UNC, beat him out in like 10 years ago.
Marcus Page.
No. Before Marcus
Kendall
Page.
Marshall?
Kendall Marshall. Yep.
Kendall Marshall. Okay.
Kendall Marshall now has the record for most assists in the ACC, but I thought Chris Corciani was actually number 1.
I'm sure he did. Yeah.
I know Corch had it for the NCAA for a while. Like many years, he held the NCAA record for all-time assists.
Yeah. I just couldn't remember if Chris was the he had it before Kendall beat him out. That's all I know.
Hey, I have a suggestion for this game moving forward. If we're going to do it more often, we should get whiteboards and then write our answers on dry erase.
Ooh, could do that.
That'd be a good idea.
I got one of those.
That'd be a good idea. We could do that. All right, good deal. Yeah, no, I mean it's a lot of fun, and definitely we'll definitely have to get fan feedback as well, see if they enjoy it as well, and we'll do it more often. So with that being said, though, we'll jump into Tuffy's Tweet of the Week. So with that being said, here we go. All right, so Tuffy's Tweet of the Week. So with that being said, though, we'll jump into Tuffy's Tweet of the Week. So with that being said, though, we'll jump into Tuffy's Tweet of the Week. So with that being said, though, we'll jump into Tuffy's Tweet of the Week. So with that being said, here we go. All right. So first, Tuffy's tweet of the week is actually from Wolfpack Stats, which first of all, I do got to give a shout out to Wolfpack Stats. They've been putting out some really great stuff recently.
Yeah.
So make sure to go follow and check them out for sure. But so this tweet from Wolfpack Stats says, hard to believe Dave Doeren is entering his 10th season at NC State. It's crazy to think about. He is second all time in wins at NC State and needs 9 more wins to pass Earl Edwards, who has 77, Greg. And in 17 years.
I don't think that's right. Yeah.
I don't think it's 9. I think it's.
And that's the
20.
number I came up with last week because that was one of the questions, and
Yeah.
the answer ended up being 13. So we need to research this somehow because
You
I
probably
said
got
9
it from
as
the
well.
same source, wherever
Yeah.
that is.
Yeah, I don't know where
Well,
I got it from.
But I'm pretty sure it's
Oh, you know
77,
what?
but I don't think it's 9. I think it's actually 13.
You know what?
But
Now I gotta look this up on GoPack.
Someone went to
Yeah.
Vanderbilt Myers quick.
Yeah.
I think the number is 77. I think Doeren
Yes.
has
Yeah.
63 or something.
that's why I'm thinking 63
Yeah.
or 64.
64.
But
So-
Yeah,
I think Holtz was here for like 3 years. You know how dominant that was? 3 years.
Yes. And that was
Mid
last time he
70s,
won
we
ACC
were so
championship.
good.
Like
Wait,
just,
and that
just pure dominance.
Mhm. And when he was coach for our last ACC championship, right?
No, Bo Ryan was, I thought.
Bo Ryan was? Okay, gotcha. But so finishing out the tweet, so we said Dave has a 58% win percentage, which only Holt, Sheridan, and Rain have surpassed in the last years. And I added in, he commented the win percentages for Holt, which was 71.9, Sheridan, which is 63.7, and Ryan, which is 61.9. So basically, I really wanted to kind of put this out there because I remember we got into, there was some tweets going back and forth talking about O'Brien versus Doeren and their, how O'Brien was really good and against UNC, winning, 5 in a row, 6 in a row, whatever it was. And, saying that what you get with O'Brien, but I don't know, folks. I don't really, I can't really understand a single argument out there to make a argument out there of O'Brien's better, or you would take O'Brien's over Doeren.
I mean,
like there's
Tom O'Brien just had 2 of the greatest NC State quarterbacks ever, and
exactly.
but other than that, like
They were barely 500.
yeah,
Yep.
I don't
Well,
see any other reason why.
Well, and also too, I mean, like literally, his last year when he had Glenn in for the second year, we got blown out by Virginia at home. Obviously, the famous kick, punt 6 to Gio Bernard. Again, there was just so much left on the table with such a great quarterback, and I mean, because that's kind of really where my head is at. But yeah, sorry. But yeah, no, I mean that's pretty much what was my thoughts. I mean, I think that Doeren. Because one funny thing too is that I was looking at the stats, and really we've only had 2 coaches that have coached 10 years or more, and that's Doeren and Earl Edwards. So there have been only 2 coaches that have coached over 10 years. I think that pretty much every other coach was only coached for years max. So it says a lot to Doeren that, I mean, he has been around for this long, and also too that again you're seeing that steady incline. And I mean, because really, I kind of say this, but I still really think about it is that, I mean, O'Brien, you always got the same thing. You had one huge upset, you had one huge downfall, and then you went 7-5, 6-6, 8-4, and you won a bowl game and you beat Carolina. You knew what you were going to get every single year. There was no difference. So
I figured it out.
Okay, Greg, what is it finally?
All right. So if you go to Wikipedia, which we all know is a great source,
Yeah.
if you go under list of NC State Wolfpack head football coaches, they have Doeren with 69 wins right there.
Yeah.
Now, if you go to the NC State page and you pull up Dave Doeren, his main profile page, that's where he has 63.
63.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah,
or 64,
that's it.
excuse me.
More correct.
64.
Yeah.
See, so I had it right, but yeah, no, that's where Wolfpack Stats got it from.
Yep.
So
But
so
now
yeah,
you see my logic. So I'm
I got
sort of
you.
vindicted.
13 wins or 9 wins?
So he
it's
needs 13 wins
64.
to tie.
Yeah.
He needs 13 wins to tie Earl Edwards and 14 wins to pass him.
Yep.
Which
I'm
he'll
vindicated.
easily do within 2 years. But I mean, hey, if he could do it this year and go 14.
If he
and
goes
one?
undefeated and wins ACC
When we go
ties,
15-0.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, let's go with that. Let's go with that.
Let me say this, though. we've been talking for years about how we'd be patient. We're trying to be patient, right? It took time to get where we want it to be. And it was really hard for fans to do that because you're like, I have so many people. I was always the glass half full kind of. I mean, I know Leighton is too, but I have friends I was around that were like, "Dude, Doeren just sucks, man. Like, this is get rid of him." I'm like, I really don't think so. Like, I think we really need to stick with this guy, and it is paying off, especially if he has a season we think he can have. I mean, I would say NC State is a program that a lot of other schools who are trying to, get their fans to buy into the patience thing. It's like, look, you could be especially if we had the win the season we're hoping to have. Look at what NC State did. They were Doeren in it, progressively got better and better and better. He had the one down year, but it's peaking. It continues to get better for them. So it's just a testament to I think the fan base patience with him. Doran's work ethic, his ability to grow too. You saw him. He just stuck with Huxtable. And you thought he was never going to get rid of Huxtable. And then realized, okay, you saw him grow because he realized he cut people he had to grow the program. It's job security. So
true.
Yeah.
And it's funny to look back that, if he doesn't beat Carolina, what is that, 17? Is it
Lee and Myers and those guys?
17.
I think it's 17.
Yeah, 17.
Right?
17, my senior year. My last game.
If he doesn't win that game, he's gone.
Probably.
A couple other games. If he didn't beat Notre Dame in the Hurricane game, he was probably gone.
Really?
Yeah.
In Hurricane?
Well,
no, that season. You're talking about that season, right? Not that game particularly.
Well, again, I mean, obviously going into it, it was pretty known that his back was against the wall. Now, obviously, nobody knew, at that point heading up into the week, that he was going to have to play in a Hurricane. But I do know that because again, the problem that everybody saw was that the next week we were playing Clemson. So basically everybody's saying, well, if we can't get by Notre Dame, we dang sure ain't going to get by Clemson. And then from there, it's like, well, we're going to fall downhill after that. So that was kind of the thought process. But yeah, I mean, I know his back was against the wall. But yeah, I mean,
Pharaoh McKeever.
Farrah McKeever, Mr. Farrah McKeever, clutch. Yeah, and I still remember to this day. I remember the Maryland game in 2013, standing on the home sideline my first year as equipment manager, and it was so Maryland game, last game of the year, and there was a fan, which I won't describe or say where he was or whatever it may be, Greg, yelling at O'Brien a couple rows up and saying, "Bring back O'Brien! Bring back
that definitely
O'Brien!"
wasn't me.
I mean, screaming at the top of his lungs, right to Doeren.
Okay, so correction. It was the 2016 season when they beat Notre Dame and they beat Carolina, and they finished 7-6. So I was off 1 year. 17 was the good year, 9-4.
Okay, so I knew the 16 year was Notre Dame. I realized that the Carolina game you're referencing was the same year. I didn't realize.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yep. So again, I mean, Doeren can, by the time his tenure ends, which whenever it may be, again, he's still relatively young, when you compare him to most college football coaches out there. So I mean, I think at the end of his tenure, if he can get a couple 2 ACC championships in his belt, which I don't think is crazy to think about, then he can make an argument at the end of his tenure as being the greatest football coach Cincinnati State's ever had. I mean, he could definitely make the case, but again, we're still way early in his tenure, but it could definitely happen. So
to your point, Leighton, he's 50.
He's 50. That's crazy. 50 years old. That's crazy. So, I mean, he's easily got another 15, 20 years at least. So, all right. So, Will Pryor did a quick trivia. Who of you saw David Thompson play as a freshman? Okay, it's not trivia. Showing my age, but I saw him play Wake Forest at Old Coliseum in Winston-Salem. I believe he put up over 40 and also got into scuffle with Wake Forest player. Nope. David Thompson's, there's no denying that. He's a great ACC player.
If he Go ahead. No, I was gonna say if he was a hockey player, he would have called that the Gordie Howe hat trick there. But
Well,
exactly.
Didn't he? Because I don't know if he was on a dunk. Didn't he on his very last basket as a state player ever dunk the ball?
That would be cool way to do it.
I've heard that story that he was on his very last bucket, which I guess didn't count. He dunked the ball.
Yeah, I know. Back then you got a technical foul for doing that. So yeah, I can see that.
I think he did. I think that's true. So.
All right, so we're going to jump into our next tweet here, which is from A. David Hale Joint saying ACC is 28-65, So a 30% win percentage versus other Power 5 leagues since 2018, and 12 of those wins are by Clemson. So meaning that only 16 are from teams other than Clemson and ACC. Rest of the league is an embarrassing 16-62. 5 ACC teams are 0-4 blank versus other Power 5 leagues, including marquee brands such as Miami, FSU, and Virginia Tech are all 0-6 against other teams in the other Power 5 leagues, which is crazy to say the least. And also, too, congratulations to Kenzie for paying the power bill, and we got some light behind her. Woo!
I didn't know it was gonna get this dark in here, so I got my cousin to come turn the light on for me.
There you go.
Oh, you're the best. That's awesome. That's awesome. But I am interested though. I wasn't able to do the research ahead of time, but I'm interested where NC State stands with that.
I'm doing it now.
Not very good, but
okay, here we go real quick. In 18, we lost to Texas A&M in the bowl game, so there's 0-1.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm trying to scroll here.
I mean, 2019, we definitely didn't win anything.
2019,
we lost to West Virginia. Yeah.
Mississippi State last year.
Yeah, we lost to them then. We didn't have a bowl game that year.
Liberty.
That's not Power 5.
It's not Power 5. It's Group 5.
Vanderbilt. Oh, it's been since 2018. Excuse me.
2018.
Yeah. So I think we're 0-for.
Oh wow.
I think we are too.
Yeah.
Kentucky lost to Kentucky in the bowl game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So this year we have an opportunity against Texas Tech.
Hey,
UConn.
Growing.
No, UConn. No, they're
UConn Group 5?
They're the same conference as Americans. Correct? As ECU is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Texas Tech is the only one.
Texas only one.
And then a bowl game.
Potential bowl game. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So we got an opportunity this year.
We had a chance last year, but Kenzie's favorite team, UCLA, didn't quite make the game.
I won't talk about it.
Well,
I got in a debate with some Carolina family members yesterday, and it didn't end well. So
and that got into it today too on Twitter about 10 wins. Did In-State get 10 wins last year? Like, yeah, no. I'm sorry for you there, Kens.
We also had Mississippi State home game canceled because of COVID, and the West Virginia home game
West Virginia from a hurricane.
The hurricane. So we lost some opportunities to get wins there.
And LSU punked out.
Yeah, and we totally would have beaten them. Oh man. So yeah. All right. So next tweet of the week is from Todd McGee.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Michael.
I was just gonna say, do you know what year that LSU series was scheduled?
Yeah, I think it was either 17 or 18 that was supposed to happen.
I was gonna say if it was 19 with Joe
we
Burrow,
we
would have gotten crushed.
We were playing LSU at home my senior year, and they were playing at LSU the year after that. So
what year was your senior year?
So
17, 16,
yeah, that's what I thought.
16.
Oh, yeah, 16 and 17.
They were going to meet in Baton Rouge in 2017 and in Raleigh 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so that was supposed to be last year.
So I was wrong. Okay,
2 years
cool.
ago.
Okay.
Well, 2020 would have been a good year to play them because they sucked.
Yeah. That's right. The year after they lost everybody. That's true.
Well, it would have gotten canceled anyways because of COVID.
So that's true. That deal was made in 2005.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, did you see that BYU's off the table?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Why is that?
They canceled.
Someone backed out. Yeah, someone backed out. We don't know who.
They did. I think they did in this case.
No, they definitely did because they have to.
LSU canceled on us
because they're joining the conference, so they have to trim down all their because right now all their conference is technically non-conference because they're independent, so they have to trim down their schedules.
That comment right there.
Yeah. So in game 14 Alpha comment saying, man, I have to go to San Diego Thursday, 6+ hour flight, but Dad got his Holiday Bowl champs t-shirts that we will wear in protest, quote unquote, if they get here or parentheses if they get here in time.
We protested at their hotel. So go right ahead.
Yeah.
There's definitely Holiday Bowl shirts on eBay. I've seen them. So
yes. And then Will Pryor commented saying David Thompson did dunk in the latter part of his last game. I was not there for that one, unfortunately. So, all right. So jumping into this tweet of the week. So Todd McGee, and I'm sorry it's small. It's kind of a long tweet. So his tweet started off by saying UNC versus NC State football since 2000. Overall win-loss, we are at 153 to 122. They're at 134 to 139. So they actually have had a losing record since 2000. Head-to-head wins, we have 13. They have 9. Seasons rated in the final AP poll, we have 4. UNC has 2. Top 25 recruiting classes, UNC has 8. NC State has 2. And then NFL draft picks, UNC has 70, NC State has 62. And then he goes on saying NC State less talent equals more wins. UNC equals underachievers. So,
you know,
that
last night.
Yeah.
I really needed that screenshot last night.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, I think we have said for a long time that, UNC pretty much almost every year has great recruiting classes, and there's always a group of NC State fans that are saying, "Oh my gosh, like what are we gonna do to compete against UNC? They're killing it on the recruit trail. What are we gonna do?" It's like, listen, they haven't done anything with recruits since Butch Davis, even before that. Okay, like they got 5 stars left and right.
Here's the only guy I honestly think they can point to right now. I mean that Izudu guy got drafted last year in the last draft, I guess a few months ago. It was an offensive lineman, but I think he was like 3rd or 4th round, which is good.
Yeah, I think it was like 3rd.
Okay, but I really think Josh Downs is the closest thing.
Yeah, I was going to say that. That's it.
Josh Downs is probably, arguably, the best receiver in the ACC this year. I think it's arguable. So, but beyond that, you're right. What can they ruined Sam Howell? We've belabored over that. They've had nothing. They've had nothing. Ty Chandler was a good transfer. That wasn't anything.
And really recently
they got a 5-star cornerback.
Yeah.
Greg is still upset about that.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, probably back in 2020 when they had Jameson Williams, Michael Carter, like that, De'Ami Brown. That was probably their biggest kind of hang of the hats. But we've definitely, I feel like, have had more 1st-round picks since then, because we've had 3 or 4 just in the last 5 years. So
out too, those wins, State has the percentage is not that much different. State's is like right there, like 55, 56 win percentage in 2000, which is not very good. But Carolina's is like 49 and something.
So, but it's interesting that we have a winning record and they don't. So, I mean,
you're right. But I was going to point out this too in a pro NC State way. State has more higher wins, but State has better wins, in my opinion. Like if you think about it, when was the last time Carolina beat Clemson, Notre Dame, or anybody that was like a really good team? I can't. I genuinely. They lost Texas A&M in their bowl game. They didn't beat Pitt last year.
Wake Forest?
Wake Forest maybe is the closest thing. And that's debatable how good really is Wake Forest. I don't know of any really good teams they've beaten. I mean, they lost to Virginia Tech early last year.
A bad Virginia Tech team that got their coach fired.
Right. Yeah. And a lot of those wins they've been playing since 2000 have been Duke. That's like a gimme win almost every year.
Duke, Virginia, Georgia Tech.
Miami's have been great most of the time. Virginia.
I'm sure there's a couple because they've had a couple good seasons. Like I think what was that 2015? They won 11 games or something.
Well, 7 years ago they played App State. Oh wait, they got blown out. Never mind.
They got beat. Yep.
The point is though, like they don't have really any good wins to point to. Like big wins, even with and they have a lower win percentage. State has beaten Notre Dame once. I mean, they've beaten Clemson 2 or 3 times, probably more than that, maybe more than that since 2000. And then you've had good wins against ranked Carolina teams. You've had good wins against. I mean, I want to go compare to Wake Forest, but you know what I'm saying? Like there's better wins.
I'll do you one better, Macon. I'll do you one better. Historically, since we've gone to 2 divisions, the Atlantic has been so much better than the Coastal. So to say that State has done that in the stronger Atlantic division should even bode even more.
Correct. True. Like the win percentage aren't that great when you consider the wins. Right. There is even more of a weight towards NC State's resume.
In terms of like probably top 5 wins, we definitely have the edge for sure. Yeah. Now, the one thing which I did want to bring up, which isn't kind of a tweet of the week, but because it's not a tweet of the week, it'd probably be an anti-tweet of the week. But there was a college football, I think it was PFF College Sports, something like that put out.
Oh, like top 10 quarterbacks.
Well, that too. Yeah. So top 10 quarterbacks, and Devin Leary was not one of them, but they had 4 ACC quarterbacks that were on the list, including Sam Hartman, Tyler Van Dyke, the Pitt quarterback,
Slovich,
and then some other guy else,
and then Brennan Armstrong.
Brandon Armstrong.
I will say this. I do think Devin Leary is I don't want to say the word polarizing player this year, but it really is like you either love him or hate him.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree.
He's just another guy, or he's like a stud. He's the best guy.
I wouldn't even say that. He's either on your radar or he's not. It's not even a love-hate per se. Like either you're all in or you've never heard of him.
Right. Yeah. No, again, it's we won't even get into it yet. I mean, that literally in the top 10, there was 4 ACC quarterbacks, but not Devin Leary. So
there's no way you can tell me he's the fifth best quarterback in this league.
No. And that list had CJ Stroud as the 4th best quarterback behind Caleb Williams and Spencer Rattler. So
Spencer Rattler, he's done nothing yet. Like,
I'm going to stand corrected. I'm going to stand myself corrected. Carolina in 2020 had a few nice wins. They had a win against number 9 Miami. I forgot Miami was number 9 at one point that year.
They peaked early.
Right. They lost. That was the game before they lost Texas A&M. So they beat Miami. They beat us, but they were ranked higher than us. We were ranked 23rd, and they beat Virginia Tech. Carolina's ranked 8th. Virginia Tech was ranked 19th. So that was
that the year they went to the ACC championship, Megan?
I don't see that.
No. 20 was Notre Dame and Clemson, right?
Yeah, 20.
Yes, 20 was the year they played Texas A&M and lost in the bowl game.
Yeah, but we did too. So
yeah, they lucked into that. They finished 4th in the ACC and went to the Orange Bowl.
Correct, but that win against those are some nice wins there. And then I'll keep looking, but that was the one year I'm seeing. I don't see any.
But the one that I was specifically talking about was where they had a map of the United States and they had the best college football stadium in each state. And it had App State as the top one in North Carolina. And I think pretty much everybody's heads exploded because, again, it's only because they have mountains around them, okay? That's the only reason. But we have 30,000 more seats than they do. And obviously much better crowd, much better. I mean, just, the entrance itself, I think, honestly, our entrance is pretty underrated. I actually really love our entrance the fireworks is awesome, man. Like, I love it. I think it's really, really sweet. The only thing which I would like is that the music be a little bit louder on the entrance, but, that's a one little slight request. But still, I mean, to even say the App State's in the same ballpark as Carter Finley, it's going
to be even better with the lights this year, too.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, just let's cut it there. Greg, what are your thoughts on it?
No, I was just going to say, speaking of the intro, someone had posted yesterday on Twitter. I don't know if anyone's familiar with the song Wolves by, I know Post Malone is in it.
Big Sean.
Man, like the first 20 seconds of that song, I could definitely get behind that for an intro.
Yeah. It's a good one.
Yeah. No, I'm sure that's.
But we need.
I have a song that I suggest. Here's my song. It's not Wolves, and I don't know that song yet. I got to go listen to it. Could be a great song. My other suggestion. And it's just a song there's a band called Kasabian. That's a song called Clubfoot. That's really freaking awesome. It's kind of got this AC/DC vibe to it. That's my
post it in our chat later tonight, and then I'll go give it a look.
I'll tell you.
So, but anyway, though, so jumping into our last tweet of the week, got to give a shout out here to Coach D. Eric McLean tweeted out a picture of saying one of the greatest interactions on the ACC network. My man, Coach D, delivering gifts today, and it's a picture of a signed red solo cup by Coach Doeren saying "Go Pack, Dave Doeren." And
I'm saying right now, if he really did sign autographed red solo cups, no, I'm saying if he were to do that, like,
oh, I see what you mean,
signed or cigars signed by him, like that would be.
Put me in for 2.
Yeah, right. It'd be pretty sweet. It'd be like a collector's thing. Just put it there, and then cool.
And then I mean, think about this. Okay, he sold them for $50, right? And then the money goes to charity.
Yeah.
I think that'd be
like Jimmy V.
A really cool collector's thing. Like I know Packer and Durham just got off, but that'd be a cool thing that they could put like on the shelf in the back of their show, and they had it on that kind of thing.
Yeah.
No, I would totally buy one of those.
Yeah. I agree. All right. So with that being said, we will jump into our Tuffy's mailbag. Here we go. All right. So yes, no, that is not mailbag. I had to switch it over here. All right. So first question, which we want to go ahead and jump to, and again, this will probably go a little bit over, but that's okay. We're having fun here. So actually, it's from Wolfpack Stats. I actually asked him or her. Again, I don't even know. I even literally asked them if I could know what their name is, and they said no. So they want the incognito. So
use your proper pronouns.
Or so,
anonymous.
Oh my God.
Anonymous. They like staying anonymous.
Yeah. So Wolfpack Stats tweet out saying, speaking of bad non-conference schedules, if State has the same year that Wake had last year, going 25-10 overall, 13-7 ACC, but missed the NCAA tournament, is that enough to save Keats' job? And the interesting thing, which I'll go ahead and point out for those who are listening here, is that it actually ended in a tie, 50-50. There was 84 votes, and it ended 50-50, 42 saying yes, 42 no. So I think that's fascinating. So I actually tweeted at them, and I was like, can we talk about this? Because that is actually really fascinating, and it's actually a really good question, because there's a lot to divulge there. Obviously, a great records, but missing the NCAA tournament for another year. I mean, could Keats really do that?
Well, if we go 25-10 and 13-7, we're not missing the NCAA. So
yes, we are. With that, and I don't mean to be rude. That non-conference is just as brutal as Wake Forest's was last year.
Right.
It's really. Yeah. I don't think it is, because you
think how well those teams do, right? I mean, if those smaller schools could win their lower conferences, and I'm not saying they're going to. I don't know what their preseason rank is, but it's not impressive. I will at least say that. So it's not like, oh wow. I mean, like, I think it's debatable. I think at that record of 25 and whatever the number was,
10,
totally
25-10.
25-10 would totally depend on how well other schools perform.
And it probably also depends on what our non-conference wins are. Because, I mean, in the Atlantis, we have potential to play Kansas and Tennessee, who are Kansas is defending national champions. If we win that, if we somehow beat them, that'd be a great
and by the way,
a great win.
Does your company drug test?
My company, yeah.
Does it drug test? Because we are not beating Kansas.
No, but I'm just saying, like, the opportunities there. It's like,
no, you're right.
I
mean, we hung with Purdue last year, so anything's possible.
We have at least 3 games in the Atlantis tournament, so like, there's Wisconsin, Kansas, Tennessee, BYU, USC, and Dayton, and Butler. Like, if any of those 3 teams were on our schedule normally, that I don't be a good non-conference. Just because they're in the tournament, it doesn't look as good.
Yeah, I hear you. But again, I mean,
Wake's non-conference was brutal last year.
If you really they had like 4 or 5 teams, 300 plus.
I think the ranking for their strength of schedule non-conference was like whatever, like how many teams are there? 300 some teams in college.
I think it was 350. I think it was 350
out of like literally like lowest. So
it was bad.
Ours, to your point, I mean, I'm not saying we have a hard schedule. It just won't be that bad.
So I will give you this point, Michael, and this is the only thing I'll say if we somehow get, say, Butler, Tennessee, and Kansas, that is 50 times full better than what Wake Forest is out of conference schedule is. So you can throw in the other cream puffs plus those 3, and you're right. If we go 1-2 or 2-1 somehow, I think with that record, you make the tournament.
What happens? The thing is, though, what happens if you don't win those games? What happens if you just beat Campbell, Elon, and whoever the other school is? Or you go 500. You go 500 non-conference. Let's say you go even 6.
We go 500 in non-conference.
Let's say you go 65%, 70% in non-conference, but you don't get those big wins. Are you going to get in at 25-10?
No.
Who knows?
Well,
but it also depends on how the rest of the country does too, right?
I think you'd be a bubble team.
You can't predict. You can't predict the rest of the country too.
25 wins would imply you've beaten some really good teams in the ACC too. So
theoretically, yeah. No, and again, it's just, to me, I feel like that the bar has to be this year for it to Keats an NCAA tournament. Period. Yeah. We need to get back there. He hasn't been back there since his first year here.
That's why you're seeing him bring in those guys he's bringing in my opinion. I think he's trying to. But yeah.
Well, and again, because he's and we were kind of saying that. I mean, he's done what he needed to this offseason. He's brought in great pieces. He brought Big T back. He brought in great coaches. A great recruiter who used to coach at Kentucky. So I mean, he did all the things right in the offseason. So to me, really, this is an NCAA tournament roster. So now he just needs to make it happen. Get back there. Get into the middle of the ACC. That's all. I think that for me is where we need to be. We need to be in the middle of the ACC. We need to be competitive, and we need to be in the NCAA tournament. We need to be back there. There's no reason we shouldn't be back there with this team, with Big T, the number 1 overall sophomore in college basketball. We should be in the NCAA tournament. So but and hopefully too, if Jarkel Joyner and Big T, can gel,
going to be a good combo. Yeah.
Woo, yeah, they'll be good. So, all right. So now next one is from in-game 14 Alpha, and as you can see, it's not just one question; it's multiple. So, but we'll kind of dive into them. So first question he asked is, why is Clemson still a 3 prediction for the college football playoff?
I can answer that. Clemson.
They're Clemson.
Because they're Clemson. Yes. No, because
their bad year was 10 wins. So
now the one thing which I did find was interesting was, I think it was David Thompson. He put out an article talking about the most overvalued and undervalued players that the players at ACC Media Day or ACC Kickoff said were overvalued, undervalued. And actually the player that that was the most mentioned when it came to overvalued for quarterbacks was actually DJ Uyunglele. And
you have a shocker button.
So, yeah, shocker. No, I took that down just so we get to 24. But
I feel like going into the season, he's not really overrated though. Like obviously last season he was, because he had those 2 good games in 2020 when he came in for Trevor Lawrence. So going into that season he was, but now everybody's like, he needs to figure it out.
I think he's going to be decent, but you don't hear a lot. I don't hear a lot of hype coming out of Clemson world about how DJ has made such amazing strides.
Right. Yeah.
Hearing even a little bit of talk that well, hey, maybe Cabe Klubnik might be
the freshman.
I think that's telling. But Clemson, I know they have guys. They have really good team, but their strength this year will be their defense. It's going to go as far as the offense will take them. And I mean, here's what I'm saying. They just lost Justin Ross. Who are their real weapons this year? Is it that Ngata in NGATA is one guy's last name who was a receiver last year? Obviously, Will Shipley, he'll be the main option there. But my point is they don't have the weapons they used to have.
No. Well, because again, the guy that was a really touted wide receiver that they brought in, huge, true fresh wide receiver they had, tore his ACL during the offseason, so he's out for the season. Sure. So I mean,
I'm not saying. And granted, do I think like State's receivers are like just so much better and different than Clemson's? No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying, is Clemson the same Clemson they were 3 years ago? No. And
for me, NC State and the wide receivers you mentioned it, I think for me it's just continuity, right? You've got continuity at the quarterback, you've got continuity at the wide receiver, you've got experience. I do know that they were talking with DJ at the ACC Media Days, and he's lost like 25 or 30 pounds. So apparently he's a little quicker and faster, so he can make better mobility decisions, but. They don't scare me offensively, other than Will Shipley. I mean, they're really hoping that DJ is a little bit more than a game manager. Gets the occasional critical third down, doesn't turn over the ball, makes good decisions. And if it doesn't work, you pen them deep and let your defense get after it. That's how they're going to win their games.
I think the Clemson NC State game should just be the first team to 10 wins, and that's it. Like I thought, that's really how it's going to be. It's going to be ridiculous.
Well, if you think about it too, that's basically how the game went last year. Right? We had 2 overtimes, and they scored 2 touchdowns in each of those overtimes. But minus that, it was a 14 game. So
and the end of the first half was 7-7, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. Yep.
So we'll see. Jumping into the next one. So why does ECU predict we won't score more than 14?
I don't know where that's coming from.
I mean, and
of course, in the first quarter.
Because, I'll tell you why, and it's the same reason that everybody, the UNC fans, say the same thing. Because we lost our left tackle, our top wide receiver, and our top 2 running backs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I mark my words. We get a touchdown from the defense in that game.
Ooh,
I like it.
Yeah,
I like that, Greg. That'd be huge. because I remember last year we went to the South Carolina ECU game, and honestly, the game changer was when South Carolina got their pick 6. That was really the game changer for them, and what basically brought South Carolina to win that game. But I honestly think if they didn't do that, they probably wouldn't have won that game. So, Macon, were you gonna have some?
Interested. I will say this: I'm very interested to see for the ECU game, Holton Ahlers, if he can step up, and how. I think it's gonna be a very fun QB battle in that game. I really do think it's going to be a very fun one to watch. I'm not saying Holton Ahlers is the greatest quarterback East ever had or anything like that, but I mean, he didn't put up no bad stats last season. He had some really good numbers. So
he can make some plays, yeah.
I'm not saying he's Devin Leary either, but I mean, it ain't nothing to bat your eye at necessarily. He was a good quarterback.
But the one thing which I'll say is that predominantly ECU does not throw the ball deep. They do not do many shot plays. And because I remember in the South Carolina ECU game, the only pass that was for more than 15 yards in that game was by a wide receiver, and it was the first play of the game on a wide receiver throw for a touchdown. but I mean, because like even looking back at ECU versus NC State in 2019, like there wasn't really many shot plays, and so I think it comes down to it that it was. But I'm saying, like, I'm just talking about Holton Ahlers predominantly. From what I've seen, is that just he doesn't have the accuracy on the deep ball, maybe. But again, that's something that could definitely change this offseason. That's something they could focus on. Again, I'm not saying that Holton Ahlers is not going to be good. He is good, but just he's more of an athlete, in my opinion, than a thrower.
So they did run the ball slightly more than they threw the ball late. I'm looking here at the stats real quick at ECU. ECU last season ran the ball 52.75% of the time and threw the ball, 47.25. So they ranked around the mid 60s for both in the country for their ability to pass. So I thought with Mike Houston, I remember seeing them play a game at James Madison. I thought he threw the ball a lot that game, but maybe here at ECU he just isn't. That's not his philosophy.
Remember, he had a good quarterback at JMU too. Remember, so like he
Holton Ahlers is a good quarterback. That's what I'm getting at. He's a good quarterback.
Yeah, but was it Narduzzi? Not Narduzzi. What was that kid's name? It's not Narduzzi, but it sounded like it. He ended up playing for the Cowboys for a minute.
I don't remember.
That was what?
Yeah.
It was from Pitt. He was the Pitt transfer.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. But anyway, yeah.
Narducci. Yeah. What is the guy's name?
Anyway.
Yeah. Ben
Narducci, right?
Ben Narducci.
Something like that.
Dinucci.
Yeah. Because it sounded like the Pitt coach. So
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well, and because my point too, really, with Holden and ECU for the most part, is that if you're going to beat our defense this year, because our defense, run defense wise, was stout last year, and it's going to be as stout, if not more stout here. So, because with ECU, one of the biggest things I know is that obviously Holden Ahlers runs the ball a lot. He runs it well. And then pretty much the other big piece that they have offense wise is they have these two running backs that they are very excited about. Well, again, I mean, you're not going to run on us this year. You're going to have to throw on us. And I wouldn't even throw on us this year.
Secondary's good, man.
How would you attack State's defense? Because here's how I would do it. I'm going to say mine. I don't think there's a clear spot except edge, potentially, defensive end, that State's got to maybe identify something defensively. What I think I would do is I would try to make State play when they're being over aggressive. Like when Tanner Engel wants to come and blitz the crap out of you, make him pay, that receiver pay who's playing over the top like that, where he was. That's what I would do. Where State being to make them pay for it.
Another thing that we tend to do is we like to play a lot of off coverage, and so you hit those bubble screens, and then if you make one tackle or miss, it's bad.
Yep.
It's bad.
I was
true.
About to say the same thing. I mean, we don't have, that dominant pass rusher. The screen and
on the edge.
So screens, maybe a running back screen out of the backfield.
I think you'll see a lot
like
of
Baker was saying when we're over aggressive.
That 10 to 20 yard range, I think you'll see a lot of throws right there.
Yeah, but see, because here's my thing, and I think I can say this about because weaknesses wise, if you're talking about weakness on the defense, it would be defensive line. If you're talking weakness on the offense side, you're talking running back. But I think that there's guys in those positions, such as Josh Harris. I think he has a potential of really breaking out this year. Savion Jackson, that guy needs to break out. And then on the running back side, if Jordan Houston, if those guys can be what we expect them to be, it's not like we're saying that they have to like just absolutely just like throw off all these shells and become a new me. Just do what we expect them to do. Then, man, I mean, watch out. That's all I'm saying. Watch out. So, but for me, honestly, I think that ECU's only break is going to be, knock on wood, if either Peyton or Drake Thomas get injured, which again, knock on wood.
Shut your mouth. You shut your mouth.
I know. I'm knocking on wood. I promise you. I'm knocking on wood like crazy over here. But other than that, because like you're saying, the edge, Peyton Wilson and Drake Thomas on either side, you don't want to go to either of their edges. You don't want to go to their edges. So, all right. So finishing it up here, we'll kind of pick. So where have the UNC Blabbermouths gone this offseason? Not complaining though. Oh no, they're still there. Don't worry.
Dig deep. They're dig deep. You can find them.
They're still there. Don't you worry. They're still talking all that, Jack, and that's okay. It is what it is. But how many ECU fans versus NC State fans will attend ECU NC State games? So kind of what percentage guess would you guys say?
75.
I would say about 20%.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Quarter of the stadium's red. A quarter of the stadium's red. Mixed throughout, maybe a fifth somewhere in there. Yeah, I agree.
What do they hold? About 50? It's close. Is it as big as Carter Friendly, or it's very close?
No. Well, it doesn't sell out. Pretty much ever.
No.
But
no, I was gonna say like 60-40, but maybe that's too optimistic.
Capacity for Dowdy Nicklin is 51.
51. I knew it was low 50s. Okay. So 51. I say 17 to 21,000, somewhere around there.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking that honestly, the only way that, because the problem is that yes, it's going to be a very hot game, so it's going to be a game where NC State fans say, listen, I don't care how much I'm going to sweat, I don't care if I become black, and have to put aloe on me for pretty much 3 weeks in a row, like, I'm going to be there and support the pack no matter what. And because I mean, now the one thing which is good is that since it's a noon game, the ECU students, won't be too drunk by then, hopefully. So
don't put it past them.
Yeah, don't put it past them.
You can't get up at 5 a.m.
Challenge accepted.
Leighton has had some horrible takes in the last 2 minutes. Like, come on, they're gonna be fired up.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, they're gonna be. Well, they're gonna be fired up, no doubt.
They're gonna be hydrated just the wrong way.
Yeah. I've gotten up at 5 a.m. before.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it'll be a hot game. Most likely. I know my brother Amos is going to be there, and I got some cousins will be there. So there'll be some state fans who are there.
That'll be a good amount.
It's the first game of the season too. Remember that. Yeah. So
with high expectations.
How it is. People who want to be there because it's the first game of the season. Normally for me, my usual thing is I usually get mini packs. To this year, I got the season tickets, but when it's mini packs, I'm like, okay, I'm 100% going to the first game, and then I'll go to like the big game here and there. So it'll be full. It'll be a really good atmosphere. Just gotta pulverize them, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I mean, just gotta punch in the mouth early. Again, because that's one of the things which I was kind of impressed about with South Carolina was that ECU first play of the game again did a trick play and threw a 75-yard pass for a touchdown, but yet South Carolina came back and ended up winning that game. Which again, I mean, because that was a huge punch in the mouth to South Carolina early. So again, we just gotta do that to them.
So I believe isn't their running back really good this year? I think
that's what I was saying is that they have a guy that actually is replacing the guy that started last year, and so they have two running backs that they're excited about. But again, we have probably going to be one of the top 2 or 3 run defenses in the country this year. So
here's the thing I'll say: if you want to compare apples to oranges with South Carolina and ECU last year. If something like that were to happen to State, I would say I wouldn't worry about it. We're a very veteran team. We kept our composure. We came back from deficits last year, so I just don't want the sky is falling fans. But if we get down early, it's a 4-quarter game for a reason. So
but gosh forbid if any NC State defense or defense coach are listening out there, protect the top. No deep passes first play. None. 0.
Yeah. I'm looking here. It's Keaton Mitchell. That guy. He's small, but he's very fast. And he's on Doak Walker watch list. Already.
But I'm not worried.
I'm just saying. Yeah, no. Talking about like the defensive end factor may come into play game one. You just got to.
Well, and that's a good point, making. We got to be gap discipline on that, right? So, like, don't let people get outside of you. Don't take yourself out of the play type thing. So,
well, because we're not even talking about that CJ Clark. I mean, we're going to get him back, and that's another big piece too. But also too, one thing that honestly I don't even think we've even mentioned it, but this is going to be Ruffin McNeil's return to ECU for the first time since he was let go. So I think honestly that a lot of State fans are going to play full Ruff, because I mean the last thing that we want to do is to bring Ruff to Dowdy Ficklin again and to lose to ECU. Like, no, we want to give him that satisfaction of a win, so it's just like, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if there's a way we can make a coach an honorary captain, let's do it.
That'd be so bad. That'd be so bad. I love it though. I'd be okay. I'd be okay. Yep. All right. So with that being said, we really do appreciate you all tuning in with us again. This is a lot of fun, and make sure again every single Monday at 8 p.m. So it is just put it on your calendar, put it repeating. Tuning with us every single time. As again, we'll do NC State trivia, we'll do Tuffy's mailbag, liquidly rewind tweets of the week, whatever it may be, answering your questions, thoughts during the show as well. So, but again, really do appreciate it. Again, also too, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Again, it's free to do, and also too, really helps support us in the channel. And make sure also too to hit that notification bell so that you're notified on all your devices when we go live and release new episodes. And actually, because too, this week we're going to be starting tomorrow. We're actually starting our interview with Jack Chambers, actually the Georgia Southern transfer. So, I took it down. But, so make sure to tune in for those. And also make sure to tune in as well. August 1st, ladies and gentlemen. Big news from the Tuffy Talk side, so make sure do not miss out August 1st. So tune in as well. Again, also give us a follow, Tuffy Talk Now on Twitter or Instagram, and we will see you all there. And I don't got nothing. Everything's really far from me. So with that being said, though,